Hey, everybody. For Chris and I, it's morning. For George, I'm not exactly sure, but we're all here for our game against CrazyStone. Basic idea is that Chris, the 9 Don, will be playing 7, 8, 9 Don, goes in and out of there. Um, we'll be playing against CrazyStone at, I think we'll keep it at 5 Don level. I'm afraid if we go up to 6 and above, we're going to lose.
Yeah, the thread.
It's going to start getting more too technical.
Mhm.
And I'll be punching in questions and possible moves and marking things, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay, new game, computer versus computer, 5 Don, Comey, start game.
I will take the star point in the upper right corner. Okay, and I'll switch it up and play a star point in the lower right corner. I haven't done any Rense yet as white.
Okay, now I'm going to mark something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are all fairly normal. I'm going to play F3.
Okay, walk away altogether, which is, I mean, I could keep marking all of these spots, and the only one I wouldn't play is J. It's like,
Yeah.
what's J doing there?
Yeah.
Doesn't fit in my mind. Okay.
So there's actually a bit of knowledge behind H that might be worth going into a little bit
You
here.
have control.
And this is from that AI class I was telling George about. This was a very, very common AlphaGo-esque answer to the approach at A, approaching at B, when you have star points on the diagonal. And one of the reasons why is because what's the one thing that Q players fear when they see this approach? They don't want a Tanuki because they're afraid of this one. But the issue with playing this one now as black when white has played F3 is that when white attaches and we go for the Joseki, white has a cut and then a ladder. And if we actually follow the ladder down, the F3 breaks the ladder, and the whole result is 2 points better for white in the opening.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is a bit of information I never would have come up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pros didn't really think about it much until AI, but then once AI showed the variation, I think it even came up in the AlphaGo teaching tool. Pros began dissecting it, and like, yeah, it's just objectively better for white in most cases.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another piece of information is this guy used to be a standard move. You probably know that.
Yep.
Because white gets another move.
Yep.
White picked up a whole move, and it's hard, and white's doing okay up on top.
Yep.
And if black doesn't get biz in the upper right, we can just get some center going on.
Yep.
Alpha comes along and says, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know why, but
yeah.
He's like, no, it's just not strong enough, is what I get.
Yeah. Sometimes AIs will still play P15. But I noticed that it likes the diagonals in the corner when there's productive work to be done on both sides. I think on the fourth line, it's harder to say that the work is as productive in this corner than if it were the Shusaku diagonal, for example, where you're on the third line and the fourth line rather than the fourth line and fifth line. Black just has more room to do things in this position.
Okay.
Because of the access to the corner. So it's like, yeah, you can do work, but it's not as impressive.
Okay, so we are.
I played F3,
here.
and we'll see what CrazyStone decides to do.
And oh, we played there. Okay.
So it backed off. That's fairly normal. Now I'm going to do something a little bit interesting, maybe. Do I want to play interesting? I have a whole opening preparation here for tournament play, but I don't know if it's actually going to be viewer friendly, so I think I'll avoid it. Let's go ahead and play C15.
C.
Yeah. If
13?
I was
15.
15, yeah. If I was playing in a tournament, I would attach on the star point.
Do you mean here?
No, I would attach on D16.
Oh, I see. Attach on using. Okay, gotcha.
Your favorite move, right?
One of them.
In a slightly different context, I guess.
Slightly different context, but yeah, it's this was one of my favorite moves to study in the AI class because it's so restrictive in how the opponent gets to play there.
Now, I'm used to AI playing it here, where it's like, oh, it's hard to come in. Oh, just contact.
Yep.
But here,
yeah. So in this case, it's a little different. But the idea is, regardless of whether the stone is at C6 or D9, they're both strong stones on the left. The difference is when the stone is further back in the corner, if black takes the top side, I can expand farther on the left. So it's more efficient for white in terms of building a group. Like if we say, for example, black, I have control, right? One common variation we see is this, but in this case, white can go all the way. And now the position that we end up making with white is something like this, and it's much more efficient. Then when black goes to attack the bottom stone, we just, because we can always play in the corner, we can just take the outside and continue.
Okay. So I can agree about it not being viewer friendly. I mean, who watching us? I don't think we have any 7 dons watching. Who's going to play this? They would be scolded by their teacher. Hey, back off, buddy. Wait till you're a strong don player before you start doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're playing here.
Yeah, this one is a little bit easier to guide with principles and explain to the viewers, I think.
Yeah. Now, this means we have 3 situations where black can take control first.
Yep.
And A, 2-1.
Yep.
Even more so. Now, I know that's fine, but it sure can create a difficult game and something where there's massive amount of options.
Right.
And that can be, go ahead.
My recommendation to simplify this in the viewers' heads is to think about the entire reason we play A. So the knowledge of A is entirely related to the B stone. It's a forcing move because black answered it. And it's there to set up the ladder condition for the top right. But outside of that, we just treat A like a forcing move. We don't defend it. So if black wants that stone, at this point, the first thing that I'm thinking about is he's already got the advantage. If he wants to go after it, how can I force him to buy that stone at a premium? I'm not interested in saving it.
Okay. That's big time. Yeah. I would never bring that to my students' attention because that's hard. Okay. But I understand it.
Yeah.
And treating A as a forcing move that's hard for me too, because I look at that as not a forcing move. Yes, but you can treat it as a forcing move. Oh, that's true. I know the idea. Okay, so hard stuff. Technical today.
Well, the opening has become very free, I think, in a lot of cases after the AI revolution. Like a lot of things people couldn't play before are much more playable now. And I'm just going to keep it simple and take a base on the left, C12. At this point, I think everyone watching can see the left is very uninteresting. We're going to attach on top. Yeah. I didn't even have to say it. This is all the preparation. And there's many ways that black can go here. It can extend, it can go into the 3-3, it can attach it R16, they're all fine. So here, this one gets out of the ladder prep, but it doesn't really matter. It's locally worse than the other variation by a couple points. So that's the sort of trade-off there. I'm gonna block. Let me showed this one last week, why white's not really worried about getting
and we're just coming out, right?
Yeah, we're just coming out, same as last time. Now look at
turn.
Yeah, turn is fine. And now, even if black had tried to take the ladder, that F3 stone just doing huge amounts of work.
Yeah. So, is there no option?
I would turn. I think getting elevation and preparing the K17 invasion later is big. I like to have access to the center. It wants to start a fight immediately. Extend. I don't see a reason to sacrifice.
I'm using my little cursor to follow the ladder down. Can you read out ladders without using your finger?
Yeah,
or the
so
cursor?
the trick to that is you imagine the stones in the bottom left corner as if they were mirrored at Tengen. So the D4 stone is on Tengen, and the F3 stone would be at M9. And you follow the ladder to the middle.
I can't follow that at all. You have control, show me what you mean.
So like, I'll just mark them with triangles and squares for simplicity. So this is exactly mirrored here. So you only have to follow the ladder here to know that it's going to touch the stone there.
Okay.
And if you actually follow the whole thing out, you'll see the maths.
Okay. So go back to your original 3, 2 triangles and a square. And how do you know that those 2 triangles in the square are the same as the others?
Because that's just how it all translates up the board. It's like a translation on a math grid. So the star points, because they're all on the same diagonal line, they all move diagonally together.
They're both on the star.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just follow the diagonal from the star point.
I can't follow the diagonal. My brain can't do that. But I go, okay, dot to dot, that I can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that could be helpful. Now I'm so used to just using my cursor and
yeah.
I'll probably continue, but
yeah,
that's good to know.
Let's see what black does. I'm curious. It's just here I'm getting so much value out of that one F3 exchange. It continues to do work even after it's played.
Yeah,
and that
I hope the viewers saw that. Now, I don't know if they can use that in their game, but they go, hey, he's using that F stone every move. Yeah.
Yeah, which also means that if black tries to capture it later, it becomes much smaller because I got a lot of value out of it already.
Yeah.
Atari, the 1 stone, and 14. Extend.
And I would say the purpose of A, it's just so helpful to the B stones getting out if they need to get out.
And helps
at
them
the very least. And make sure C isn't a ladder. I mean, he doesn't ladder us, all that kind of stuff. Okay.
There are good Ataris and bad Ataris. And A is one of the good ones, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So it's trying to start a fight and get something on the left. I'm going to push one more time, or on the right. Push one more time.
Push once more. Now we have a ladder. I'm sorry, a net to capture the cutting stones.
Yeah. It's worth noting that if black does try to prevent that, the fight gets really hard for black, and white gets to press the right down. But if black gives white,
go ahead and show us.
Yeah, so like if black ever tries to run away, then this type of Hane thing can become very painful here. White can't double Hane at the moment because of this, but black always has to worry about getting the head pushed down. And if black just gives it up, then white is incredibly thick in the middle.
Right.
So black is trying to find a happy medium here.
Okay.
It doesn't want to get pushed down, and it also doesn't want to lose the stones without value. It's making sense.
I assume you're going to net?
Yep. Yeah, must move. No choice.
And then probably the thick one?
The thick one, yeah. And then it approaches. So here I have some choices. There's some interesting Aji in this black position on the right side.
Because of this weakness.
Right. So I'm already thinking about what's the timing for A going to look like. And probably when it's becoming important to leverage the O10 stones for something else, when the fighting comes to the bottom, I think that's when A will be useful. So I'm not going to touch it now.
Okay, let me repeat that. That was important. Okay. So, and I might not translate this well because I'm okay. So the cut at A represents the 2 mark stones, which at the moment are not particularly in our field of vision, but is also for those 3 stones that's the whole group. That's big, which means he's going to, like, if we were to do this, this is the basic picture I'm getting. Of course, he's going to give the 2 up. White's already secure in the center. So you're saying we're going to wait until those original 2 stones are looking good to us.
Yep.
Interesting. I would not have used that perspective. And what are you thinking at all about? Well, I can do this sort of thing.
Nope.
Are you looking for something here?
Not particularly.
Because that territory is not big?
I mean, it looks big, but I have a few different ways that it can be reduced already. It's just that territory is not interesting. What's black going to do with it? It can't get bigger. It's just kind of stuck there. I'll get to it when it's big enough.
Oh, nice. I like the way you said that. What is black going to do with it? It can't get bigger. Oh, nice. Then let him have it. It can't get bigger. Let him have it. Oh,
Chris,
I like that.
well, what about attaching it Q6? Would that be wrong because it kind of disregards the RG at A? It says
it would be Aji Keshi. It does help black a lot. Like, we would play this if white was expecting there to become a big fight close to the bottom right corner on the bottom, and white needs strength, but there's no black stones there yet. So if we prepare ahead of time like this, let's just map control.
Yeah.
I'll sort of show what I think about that. Like, even we just get a basic Joseki, right? Let's just have black even make the 1 extra move. Black's never going to come close to this corner again. If black attacks, he's going to play as far away from it as he can. And then what benefit did this actually get us in exchange for what we lose?
The contact forces black to get stronger there, and we don't want that because he has so many weaknesses there.
Now, what I'm considering more is, and I'll just play my next move because it's going to be here. What I'm considering more is that eventually, because I know that this stone is not developed yet, it's going to be attractive for black to play B. And when black plays B, that's when this cut is going to come into play. The 2 stones are what black is going to want to leverage an attack against A from the middle, but if those 2 stones become weak, the fighting is not going to be easy for him.
Okay, slow down. So you just did something that's super strong players do that I never, ever, ever, ever do. If I do this and he's going to do that, then I'm going to do this. That's my plan. I've never done that in my whole life. Show that plan. Play it out, some fantasy thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can imagine something like this, and then black pushes. Then there's the question of
wait. What do you mean black pushes? Why would black push?
Well, black can do other things, but if black doesn't push up and defend the weakness.
Wait. Let's just play P6. Black fixes P6. Everything in Sente.
Okay, he can do that. I'll turn.
So I don't see the benefit of your plan.
Okay, so in this case, it's going to be harder to cut directly, but I still have peep at A and I still have the cut at B. So in this case, if black attacks, black's not going to get the severe attack black wants against my my corner. Black is going to get a position here for sure, but it's not impressive.
Now, of course, you're cut.
Yeah, I can be cut, but I'm alive in the corner with Ko.
Okay, like you magically just know that.
Yeah, it's when black tries to go through, this one creates a situation where if white's Imukis, there's a Ko in the corner.
Okay.
And white can, of course, live without the Ko if white answers 1 move in the corner with something like Hane Connect. But white doesn't have to. When black cuts, the cut's in Gote because there's a Ko in the corner.
Okay. The idea of just saying, "Oh, cut me, I don't mind." That's way
Yeah. But
I used to know some shapes where I could do that, but
can I stop misclicking? That'd be great. But I'm also looking at, like, if black really tries to do something like this, it's still going to be difficult for black. This cut is not gone yet.
Okay. Let me see if I can see that clearly from here. So in a sense, this is my worst nightmare. We have the public being forced to endure situations they'll never encounter with really difficult stuff, and I'm trying to breathe in the midst of all this intense stuff.
Yeah, it can be a lot.
When I look at this situation, I got to get rid of those two.
Yep.
Okay. I'm thinking there's a whole bunch of Blackstones ready to pounce down. I basically see this move, and it's like I am totally behind enemy lines. Why did I let such a thing happen? This seems overwhelming. Now, I don't look at all your plans. I haven't read anything out. I'm surrounded. I can't get out. It's like I wouldn't want that. And you're going, oh, it's going to be fine. Okay, that's hard for me. Can you walk me through why I shouldn't be afraid of this?
Sure.
And indeed, is this just a second, last thought. Come on. Is this a mistake? Okay, on to you.
I'll start with is this a mistake? I don't think responding is a mistake. I think it's a question, because white has two different things that white can think about on this board. Between A and B, for white, B is more interesting.
Right.
White.
Big area, attack black, yeah.
Right. So B represents white keeping initiative. A represents white giving that away. Now, I spent all these moves. I spent all these moves in the upper right to get thickness in preparation for B. If I play A, I don't get B. And then what's my follow-up? If I know that the right side is small and it can't get bigger, I mean, yeah, I could break the right side, but black shouldn't really care about it. It's already small.
Okay. I need to stop you. I need to stop you and repeat some of this. That was big. Okay. Earlier, we said, you know that A stone on the bottom? Oh, that has done so much work that we basically say, oh, thank you. That was you may leave now to the A stone. We care less about you because you've already produced so much stuff. Okay. Along with that thought, I have spent all this time building a big old wall, and to say I don't care, I didn't mean it. No, of course I want to use that wall. Okay. So using the wall with B is paramount, while of course your C stone's going to be fine. So black gets the right. It's hard for him to get the whole thing anyway. Okay, that I can handle.
Yeah.
I also like the B keeps the initiative, defending C gives it away. I usually don't think that. I think, well, stay strong. I mean, my game is really simple. I got to tell you, my game is really simple. I got to 5-dan with no reading. I mean,
Same.
almost literally.
Same, actually. It wasn't until I went on I played a game against a 7-dan where I was literally harassed the whole game, start to finish. One mistake in the bottom right corner blew into a running fight that went from the bottom right up the right side to the top right to the top to the left to the bottom left. It ran around the whole board and I lost by 10 points. And I did more reading in that game than I think I'd ever done in my entire life up to that point, trying not to die from the 7-dan's relentless attacks on the whole board.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, this will never happen again. Never again. And I spent 6 to 8 months just grinding Sumego to improve the reading skills. But yeah, 5-dan with no reading. I relate to that so much.
Okay. So I'm looking at the weak C stone, which isn't weak. It's just a lot of black stones around. Of course, it is not weak. Give me a break. And I wasn't looking at the more important concept of the wall. And still the A stone is hard for me. Oh, forcing me, we'll just give it away. That's still not incorporated. Okay. The wall is more important than a not weak C stone. Okay, that's so obvious. Wall screaming, sea stones giving a little hint, coughing a little bit. I could use a small amount of help if you don't mind. A small amount. Well, the walls, oh, I'm a big wall, I'm going to get you. Okay. I deal with the character of the board. I put on the voices. I don't know if it sounds stupid, but that's how I get to see the board is developing that character. Okay. Oh, man, I understand this position way more than I did a minute ago. Thank you. Okay, black. White to play. Of course we're going to play. I play here in a second. Okay.
Yeah, Kosumi's making sense. It wants to resist, but it's hard. Push.
Just straight up, I would assume.
The hard part about black playing against the thickness like this is these moves are all relatively low value. Extend? Or relatively no value, I should say. They're all on Dame. There's no Aji with my cut here.
So I see 3 extensions.
C.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take the shape point first. If we allow black to get C, it's going to liberate his stones from my wall. I'd rather him not move away from my hug.
Okay. Now, are you seeing C Ascente?
Am I seeing C Ascente?
Yeah.
Only if black wants to live on the top.
Here, just a second. Now, you have to fix, right?
Yeah. We'll play the Hane.
And so you didn't get Sente here.
No, I'll play the Hane. I'm gonna take a liberty. I'm gonna make a question out of this.
Oh, I see. And that puts the pressure black. Okay, so it is Sente, but perhaps more than that, a black move there is dynamically wonderful for that black group.
Yeah, it represents black is going to get to move away from the wall, and then the thickness becomes a little less.
I would get confused between that and sharing the attack. Big move, totally hurt black in the corner, and deal with the other thing later. But strike while the iron is hot. You must play C because that's okay. That back to the white wall. Good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the ways it could answer. Counter Atari, N16.
Just a second, Atari. He captures. I can't read that out.
Cut L15.
Okay. This is something I tend to have a hard time with. We just gave up our A group. Now, I gave up. I don't mean it's dead. And clearly, Black's B group is hurt more than our A group. But that's the kind of thing that's hard for me to see. Okay, but it's once you see it. Okay. Boom. Counter. Okay. Oh, get away from it. Stop it. Black. Get on the right button. White.
So here we're just guaranteeing profit. If this becomes a running fight situation, it's not really to black's benefit. The job.
Okay.
Unexpected.
So we have gained wonderful profit on top. Just makes us so happy. And our center group won't have trouble getting out. Black's weaker than we are. Okay.
So this one is an interesting one. Black is sort of looking for the cut. And white's not going to just connect the cut. Obviously, cutting for black only represents one eye. So I think now is about the time where I want to call something into question. I'm going to cut at Q10. I said earlier that this cut was particularly useful when we need to leverage the 2 stones. Now that we have a big fight brewing in the center nearby, it is time to leverage the 2 stones.
Okay. So you want to know what happens with the A cut. Therefore, you're cutting at B. Did I say that right?
Well, I'm going to start with the Q10 cut. The simplest way to explain why I'm playing Q10 is because I really want to question the liberties of P10. If that group starts losing liberties, it's going to be easier for me to force my way out with my N11 group and start surrounding black in the center.
Okay, so A's asking a question.
Yep.
Okay. I think the timing here, and if I can read your mind a little bit. Let's see. A, are you joking? A little clumpy white group? That's nothing. Hey, how about B? There's a lot. Even if it almost works, it's weak. Okay, I'll just start running out. Well, he can play. Has no. Okay, if I ask the question, then I'll know what to do. Did I read your mind right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Good. Very nice. Oh, Chris, so thank you so much for joining us on this.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Let's see what it does. It's going to seal me in. Okay. Somewhat expected. So I cheated and did a little bit of reading here. If the group in the center dies, but he loses the right side, it's going to be a fairly even trade, and it might even still be better for white. So I'm going to Hane in the corner at S15. Now we're starting to ask questions around that R13 cut. We're bringing the liberties of the whole black group into question. White's only got 2 liberties if black plays first, but black does need to connect first. All right. Now, order is probably going to be important for how we do this next.
Okay.
So double check.
So White's saying, heck, my whole A area, I've done such wonderful things. Now I'm happy to exchange. He gets B, I get the whole C area. This kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about the best way to go about doing it. I think now I have to push through N10. Again, asking more questions. Even if the whole thing does die, there's cuts. M9.
M9. Okay.
Okay, so it did extend. Dude. So that works. Is there anything better? Is there anything better?
There's one trouble about playing sharp like this. It just leads to a lot of reading.
Yeah, I don't mind the reading. It's good practice for me. Connect to M12. I'm not sure if it's the most optimal way, but I can read that it's probably going to be fine. So we'll start with that. It looks like white's going to lose at least the tail, but losing 5 stones in exchange for the top, it's okay.
Okay.
The cut at Q10 is still a problem for black until the stones are removed. So it did go this way. How interesting. Atari at O12. I think this one is a mistake. I think it needed to play M11. And then we're getting out with Atari. Now I saved the tail and Q10 is a real cut. This is the worst case scenario for black.
That's kind of cheating, Chris.
Look, it made the mistake, not me.
Getting all this read out.
Gotcha.
Wow. White got absolutely everything. And the right is still in shambles for black.
And another thing I'd like to point out. Another thing I'd like to point out is if a ladder does start here, F3 still breaks it.
That's good, isn't it? Oh man, I had a friend decades ago. His reading was quite good, and he would put these Aji stones down that would bother me the entire game, just like F3. Keeps coming up.
So here, black needs to have some kind of conversion plan. to make something out of this position. I'm gonna push down at M8. This is the gaining liberties move. It's good shape.
Yeah, gain liberties, use up black's shape.
Yep, put a lot of pressure with that Q10 cut. Okay, Hane, okay. Empty triangle, L8. Q players, don't try this at home.
Right.
Extend the sacrifice. Always extend the liberties of the sacrifice stone. This way we can continue to have it be a bother to black. We just wanted to take more time. There's even an argument to do it again, but if I do it again, does it give him enough time to bother the center first? Okay, I'm gonna not extend yet. I'm gonna play K9. I'm just gonna re-ask a question back at the center, remove black's follow-up here, and ask him what he wants to do with his dumpling in the middle. At this point, if he does take the stones at S10, then they've gotten all the value they need to get. Black lost Sente.
Yeah. Make sure the viewers understand, black's A group is disgusting. I mean, this clump of eyeless with lots of white stones around to bother it. I mean, that is a bad group right there. Yeah.
And just in general, I think K9 is important for white because it gives white an eye in the center, which makes white significantly stronger in any running fight. It's always better to be one iron running than no iron running.
Quick question on the right. You mentioned the extension, but B was the first move I thought of. Is there some pattern like, oh, always A or always B?
Not necessarily. It depends on what you're actually trying to look at. B is very often the local tessage for the shape on the right. I'm more interested in looking at the cut at N7. So A is better relationship with the N7 cut than B is. If you need me to show, I can kind of show what I'm going for. But a lot of the idea is that, like, okay, let's say we play from this side and black plays, I don't know, something to defend the shape. There's a cut here inside and an extension. If black ever defends, there's a cut from here. And so increasing the liberties directly by descending puts a lot more pressure on the N7 cut than if you play the local tessage at B. Like B, we're looking more for either this kind of fight or this kind of thing. Like this, black can live inside, but in this shape, white has a much easier time wrapping around and then living, but doesn't really get to use the N7 cut well.
Okay, so they're both valid depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you're aiming at the nasty cuts in the center, therefore A. Get lots of liberties. You're not trying to win a local fight.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just right now, it seems the cutting Haji of N7 might become more important because I'm one iron running in the middle. So it's a defensive resource to keep that intact. I can trade it for territory, but if I lose defense, that could bite me in the butt later, and I'd rather not do that.
Right.
I'm going to push again.
Great.
J9.
J9.
Yeah, there's no reason. Black is committing to saving this now, so...
Chris, it's great that you, I don't know, viewers might not know, but Chris, back when he was, I don't know, 13 or 14 as a 6Q, and he's listening to my lectures, and I'm helping him out, and here he is 9-done. I mean, depending on where he's playing, super strong. It is so much fun to see him all grown up, as it were.
Yeah.
And I get, you're not the only one, Chris. I get these people come to me, oh, years ago, you helped me when I was just a kid. Thank you so much. You know, it's like, it's so touching.
Well, it's because, you know, I'm thankful because you didn't have to do it, right? Like, I read your bio back then. I would watch the weekly lectures, but I didn't have money. I was a kid. My parents didn't support Ghost, so, you know, all I could do was ask, hey, if you ever do charity teaching games, could I get one? And you were like, usually I charge money for this kind of thing. And then you're like, how old are you? I was like 12. And you were like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I've got 30 minutes. But that was a very impactful lecture because I remember after that lesson, like within 2 weeks, I went from like 6-7Q to like 3Q. just from the stuff that we had talked about in the lecture. But I went back and reviewed the SGF at least 100 times. So like I studied the positions in that game a lot, and it helped, you know. I didn't even realize black extended because I was talking. Okay. Let's see. So there's a couple of things that I'm thinking about here. As the fighting is starting to wind up, there's the question of the black 2 stones in the upper left. What's going to become of them in relation to the fight? And now that white is getting a presence in the center, it's also becoming harder for black to touch the F3 stone in a positive way.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm considering here now is, do I need to play more moves locally or should I Tanuki? Because I can keep fighting, but I need to make sure that I'm getting profit. So I think right now I'm going to cut N7. We're going to take this one now and leave the Aji on the right intact.
Yeah.
I can still play S10 if I need the liberties, and then if black doesn't stop S10 later on, I get value out of it regardless of those stones. I can do the S11 method.
Okay.
Descend. Yeah, I should figure it's going to try to play the strongest one. Push it H9. This is just like a half move of help almost. Maybe it's even closer to a full move, but it's more likely going to be Sente, so I don't think he can really ignore it. And then now I'm going to extend to S10. We're going to sort of see how this all ties into itself.
Okay, let me ask a question here.
Okay.
I would, without any thought, boom, then whatever he plays, and boom, I have a huge bottom area.
Yeah, it's possible. But if I do it like that and I fight with the bottom directly, it's a fight and I still have to prove that it's mine. If I leverage the 2 cutting stones and I force black to defend in a way that makes N7 stronger, I can attack M6 more severely and it won't be a fight. He'll just be dead. That's kind of my thinking.
Okay, so you want a little more clarity. Okay.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with those 7 directly. It's just this move is really hard for black to answer because he can't afford to give up the tail either. He doesn't have enough points. Peep at P8. Extend at O7.
Little snap back.
K6.
Hey?
K, as in Kit Kat bar, 6. Yeah, here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would scare me.
yeah. I told you it's gonna result in something dying, right? This is where S10 is valuable here because now R9 has a liberty shortage if black tries to attack me.
Say that again. I'm giving you control. Say that again.
So it depends on how black tries to attack. But if black tries to attack too hard, the problem is this group is cut off and could be subject to liberty shortage problems while white's defending. So what would be like the best answer? Probably just even attach. But even if he goes, how does he save it? So he can't really save the 2 stones. He has to save the right side, and when he saves the right side, he's dead.
Okay. So here we're basically saying the A stones are my target, or rather doing well on the bottom is my target. Oh, but what about my weak B stones? Weak, his C group is on the edge. He's got the gap to the D, so there's lots I can do there, and he can't really surround me anyway. He might even be weaker than I am, especially if I play here. Okay.
And it's another move of help to the middle group as well.
Yeah.
So the middle group has one eye. Now it's pretty close to its second, if not there already.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a little complacent. And as the game goes on, all of a sudden, oh, he's threatening my eye, and all of a sudden, hey, I only have one eye. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
So
and that's one of the reasons I was a bit risk averse with playing 07 and drop directly, starting a fight on the bottom. It's easier for me to do this if black has to constantly worry about the right side.
Yeah. This B move is really advanced. Down.
So it does play the diagonal.
Undo.
Oh.
Here. And. So many buttons to click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It jumps. Okay. So it's a bit soft, but it makes sense. He doesn't want any complications. So let's think. I don't think that changes the math there. So 03? I'd go one lower. We don't need to play high here. Yeah.
Yeah, you see me, that was where I was hovering. It's like, hey, look at me. I've thickened up my big gap there. You're like, yeah, you can plenty of room to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
A little sharper.
The kick. Unexpected.
Stand?
Yep. Actually, I always think about the stand versus the knight's move. Even if I don't end up playing the knight's move, I think it's worth considering.
You mean this knight's move?
Yeah. Just shape-wise, it's worth considering. But I don't think I want to play it here. I would rather stand. I don't see a reason to make black better.
Okay. And that's good for the viewers. White shape's getting better here. Yeah, but black just got it significantly thicker. So there's always a give and a take to all these. Okay.
Yeah.
We stand.
Like this. There's still not really a clean cut for black either. Yeah. Now here, Q players might get a little bothered by the F3 stone being pincered and black getting a base at the same time. But the problem with this for black is that black isn't alive. So I'm going to kick at R5 and ask black what about that life, though. Just close the corner, get the territory, and force him to decide if he's going to try to live without swallowing S10, which is better for me, or if he's going to swallow S10 and lose points in endgame. Okay. She's got the base now. The 3 stones can be sacrificed. There's not a particularly urgent reason to save them. K4 press. Looks like a good shape point. Yeah, I think we'll K4 press.
Okay. When I see his... That's my alarm saying it's time to see you two. Because we're an hour off before.
Yeah.
Okay. He just played A. And in my mind, I'm going, holy cow, he has got so close to my thickness, especially since he has this sort of move. I'm starting to get concerned. Of course, my corner's fine. So anyway, once I'm here, I'm like, I'd really like to clean this up. Great. Now he's not going to mess with that gap. You just don't like helping him?
I just don't think I need to play it. If I play that helping move, yeah, I connect the 3 stones, but as it stands right now, at best, it's endgame. Once black has the base, he's going to live. So...
Okay.
I save it, but what's the follow-up?
Okay, if I'm making him stronger, he's got clear life, and this... We want him to take the 3 as we take a bigger area. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm asking the question first. There will probably come a point in time where the 3 stones are important enough to save, and I'm not convinced that that's now.
Okay.
I'm going to push on top at J4. Cover, ask him about the Hane. Thicken up my shape here in the middle.
Man, that looks slow to me.
Yeah. It's a little bit, but if N5 is sort of my right, then he can't really suffer the Hane. It's going to be quite painful for him to let me get that much value out of f3.
So are you saying this is making your group uncomfortable again?
Possibly, yeah, because I still only have the one eye.
Okay, so you're saying, let's just be respectful, thinking about position. Okay. This balance of playing fast enough and yet playing strong enough is really hard.
I try to do it on a case-by-case basis. I find it's a little bit easier to manage it. Now we're going to hit him with what I like to call the spice. I'm going to attach a d5.
D5?
Yep. This one is a known move, so I expect you've seen this one before. Although you typically don't see it unless it's being used as a ladder breaker.
Are you thinking we're going to surround the A stone at a distance and then try to kill?
I don't know if it's ever going to get to the point where we try to kill it. But one interesting point to note is that if Black ever tries to use any Aji in my corner, he has to give me a thick position on against both outside groups to live there. And if the bottom group is surrounded, it may not be alive if Black decides to invade me.
Okay. Man, this is hard for me.
It's an insurance policy.
I'm taking the points, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm seeing him capturing f3 as really tiny.
Yeah, it's and also possible.
Big. And I'm already live in the center, and he's already live on the bottom. So why wouldn't you go in the corner?
It's already possible, but this the method of d5 and surrounding is better Aji for the r3 point in the corner in the bottom right. One of the benefits.
Okay. Wait. You just said A is much better for B?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just going to go over there and slap you for saying such a thing.
Sure.
Show me how that's...
So the basic idea is that White's going to get something like this.
Okay.
And then bridge the outside. If Black ever tries to invade to live here, I'll just play like a small situation that looks like maybe it can translate into life later.
Okay.
If I allow Black to live, Black has to give me A and B. But the problem with that is that if Black is surrounded, he died. Right?
Okay. So you're saying if I get my outside wall,
yeah,
he can't come. It makes him weak enough. He can't afford to go to the corner.
He can't afford to go.
That's understandable.
So this one
couldn't link it.
Okay. So A is covering B. It's covering.
Now this is actually a place I would get hurt. I'm like this, giving him the thickness. Let's just do that. And we'll make it real simple here. Now Black says, buddy, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't have a counterattack. Oh my God. I've gotten in trouble like that so many times. I tend to not respect this. Okay. Very nice.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna clamp if it blocks. Yeah. This is just the standard method. Now extending is a move that Black can play. It changes the math only very slightly though. 3-3. It's gonna push. Yeah, block, only move. Then push again, okay. So it's trying to link up by force. Connect, solid, F2. This one is important because it keeps Black disconnected just enough that the cut at C4 can cause liberty problems, and I still have counterattacks. And now if Black spends the Sente to link up, I can just Hane in the corner at S6 and remove all the Aji.
Very nice. Oh, that flow was beautiful, Chris. That was beautiful. When I first got to 6-ton, I used to tour the clubs.
Yeah.
To show my wares, and I'm down in Santa Cruz Club. And the strongest player there was a 1-don, and we're having this game, and the other half dozen people are just staring at it in amazement. I come in as Moyo and play regular old stuff, and then I just eat it all up and run out.
Hmm?
And when I finished the sequence, all the heads turned to me at once and they said, "That was beautiful."
Mhm.
That's what I just did to you. It's like, holy cow, that was gorgeous.
Yeah. This is the type of play that made me fall in love with Go, I think. Yeah, we're connecting clearly. One thing that I would like to point out to the audience is if you do a quick count, where's Black's territory?
Right. He's got
Um,
almost nothing.
yeah,
He's got so little. And we've got the top right is huge,
yeah.
bottom right, yeah.
Top left can grow because the two stones still have some questions that need to be asked. And yes, we do leave a bit of a weak point in the center. Black does have J7, which is mildly annoying. But white isn't going to die because black is also weak in the center. So at this point, my game plan to Yosei is just mutual destruction of all the open space. And maybe I get a big point on the top or the top left to increase territory. But at this point, the winning image for me is just black can't win if he can't make points. So you just stop him from making new territory, and there's no way that he wins this endgame.
Okay, so you're saying that you want to get into area 1 and area 2. Those are the spots black can make territory.
Yeah, or even B17 area 3. Those are like the big 3 Gote places white's going to be looking at to try to plop a stone down with a free move, and it's only really going to be optimal if black can get to it first. But the problem is it's hard for black to play these moves when black is weak in the middle. He still has the MIOK portion of the list to go through before he can take a big place.
Okay. So would we say, and this will be our last, we've had a good long session. It was a hard session. That was hard. Might we say that black's only hope would be to bother the A stones and get points?
Yep, probably.
Therefore, if I strengthen my A group, and it's black's move, but if we were to strengthen it, we got the corner points. When he defends, doesn't bother us.
Yep.
And we can go about doing whatever we want.
Yep.
This kind of picture, of course, that's black's move, and I am curious where he would play.
I suspect J7 because it needs to try to kill me to win.
And he does.
Yeah, I'm going to block K7.
Okay, I said we were done, but we have to make sure you live first.
Yeah.
Because if you don't live, we're going to have so much fun taunting you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But unfortunately for black, I've done more reading. Wedge, M5.
M5. That's a sharp move right there.
Yeah. And I think we know the follow-up to this one. We just extend, right? And he's got to connect, but there's 2 cuts. Cut.
And then you're just alive anyway.
I'm alive. Yep.
Okay. Nice ending. You over there, we're having this conversation, and Chris is like, "Oh, am I just alive?" I just read that out. Cute little cut. Oh, I just live. Okay. And clearly, there's just no hope whatsoever for black now.
Yeah. Do you think it would be helpful to do a recap of like the big points at the end of these lessons, or?
Yes. And if you could do that, and your natural tendency is to just name all these coordinates so fast, and we're like, G10, where's that? And it's like you're already off on the next idea. So keep it calm so that people like me can understand. Okay, you have control.
Yeah. So first point of the recap is B parries the double approach by breaking ladders. And it's treated as a forcing move from that point until white needs to use it for something else. This is just general opening theory. We touch on finished corners before we touch finished corners. Secure the base so that we don't have problems on the left where black has the most stones. We enact our plan. Black plays against our plan. We choose the simplest path forward. And then turn. The cut at A is not scary because we're still getting dividends from the investment at B. Breaking all of our ladders, which allows white to fight very strongly here.
A is really important there.
Yep. A is important to prevent black from doing, whoops. Thank you. It is very important to prevent black from eventually getting a move around here.
Right, that could be really bad, yeah.
Yep. And since he doesn't have the ladder, there's no refutation anyway. So play good Ataris, not bad Ataris. And then the push to set up the Miai of getting the net or the right side press, which would naturally develop.
Yeah, B is really powerful, yeah.
Hane tries to break white's Hane, but gives up the thickness.
And black's doing stuff on the right. It's just weak stuff.
Yeah. And black has taken the right side, and it looks big, but upon further investigation, it's less than 30 points and not really considerable territory for a side. It also has the problem that there are two defects which white doesn't need to pay attention to now, because the important thing is using the thickness, but white should be aware of how white's planning to use them in the future. Black approaches the bottom corner, and at this point we're deciding as white, how should we play? Do we defend C, or do we capitalize at B? B represents using the thickness and maintaining initiative. Defending
C is not even weak anyway, yeah.
Defending C would represent playing a sort of pass move to see how black wants to fix the situation. There's no reason to really do it. C before anything on the top, because it's good to break black's shape there. If we play on the top and black comes out, then he gets to dynamically.
Too good a move to allow, right?
He gets to move away from the thickness, and then what do we have it for? So we need to make sure that the thickness is staying useful. Clamp is black's method of trying to defend efficiently, but it necessarily gives up a trade after the Hane. Trading is the one that's hard to see, but it's a guaranteed profit move versus keeping the thickness and possibly allowing black to escape.
That is hard, yeah.
In a situation like this, I know we didn't really cover it, but the fighting is moving away from white thickness in this position. And white is now going to have to fight with black's thickness. And when white has positional weaknesses around A, B, and C on the left, this fight might not be as favorable for white as we would like it to be. Good. So trading makes a lot of sense for white here. Black is still weak anyway. Then white cheated and did a lot of reading things, starting by asking the question of C, because we're not really sure the best way to move out with the center, so we want to see what Aji black will give us. Mostly leveraging liberties on the two stones. Black decides, okay, I'm going to seal you in, forcing exchange, and then white gets out. From this point, now that white has escaped, black has two problems: the cut at A, the group at B. Black has become busy as a result of the fight. And the right side, and the right side has already gotten smaller by virtue of white getting C and Sente. So a lot of the benefit in the fight already for white is that even if the A stone dies and black got the whole right, black lost a good 5 to 10 points here. So black continues attacking. This is all black can do. Empty triangle is the best SOG for shape in most of these cases. Which you don't usually hear. Empty triangle is good for liberties, but in fighting situations, it can be. This is following proverb, when sacrificing, sacrifice one more. The general idea is you want it to take more time for the opponent to have to remove them from the board, so you can get more dividends on the outside. In this case, there's 3 cutting points that are interesting to white and a weak group. So the Aji is still very potent here, and it's not. It doesn't make sense for white to give up 1 stone if white's not going to extend it to get extra value from this. And then here we talked about the difference between 1 and 2. I noted the importance of getting a move at 3. 3 represents white being 1 eye and running against A, so it's going to be Sente. Black can't stop it because black will be very close to dead. So we come back to the center because it's important. We need to get that before black has a chance to. Push 1 more time, and then we cut. Again, still trying to balance which of the Aji we're going to use based on how black answers. So probing moves mostly on the right side. And when black decides I'm going to fight strongly, then we remind black very earnestly that black has problems with the descent. So 1 more push first, then we descend. And then black defended. And now this is also a gaining exchange for white. The territory shrunk because later in the end game, black would have preferred that stone to be C, but now C is white's privilege. And the other extra value of A is that now, no matter what, Black's territory is going to be at least 4 to 5 points smaller because Black has to semi-dory the A group and remove it from the board. When White pushes at C, White's going to get to squeeze the tail and force Black.
And that's big, actually.
Yeah, it's huge. It can be upwards of 8 to 10 points in endgame, like pure gain for White.
Yeah. He has to come back and take you. Oh my God.
Yes. And so here, Black's right side got reduced from what used to be a 30-point potential to something that amounts to effectively 9 to 10 points worth of value.
Yeah, serious reduction. Yeah.
And White got it all in Sente.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, Black could resign here and the game would be,
Right. Yeah.
But Black continued to fight because White does have weak stones, and it's up to White to figure out how to handle it. So we handle by the method of just defending the corner, the weakest stone, take the base. 3 stones are hard to say they're weaker because Black is also weak. So by virtue of the fighting principle, you're only, strength and weakness is relative to your neighbors. And then my neighbor is weaker than I am, so I'll defend the weakest stone. 0-3 for Black would represent a base and helping him on the outside of the fight, which is, for White, the bigger side anyway. But White cares much more about the middle group than the 3 stones. So this is a sort of natural place. More fighting, and then here, taking the corner. I think this is probably one of the more valuable spots here. White gained a profit at the corner, and the 3 stones are only as useful as the attack that they can provide on the cut. But since N8 is going to be alive anyway by virtue of S10 being dead, granted Black is going to have to take them, and M4 being alive by virtue of the fact that J3 has now established a base and he has potential to make eyes, the 3 stones don't really hold enough strategic value yet to warrant making Black better to save them. So we can get a better exchange.
A little hard, but yeah.
On the outside. And then this one, just we're being prepared to make eyes in the center if we need to, because our group were.
And you almost died, other than a cute little Chisuji,
Yep. Right.
So important.
And then here, as Black is continuing to defend, the shape becomes more and more lifelike. We have to worry more and more about B. That's sort of the nature of the shape in the corner. You always have to worry about the 3-3. And so when I'm thinking about how to handle, I want to handle in a way that's going to be productive to B. So I choose to bother the corner in such a way that I get attacking chances against A should Black try it. For Q players, my recommendation would be just Hana and Connect. Especially if you're already winning, this is the easy method. You don't have to be fancy. If you do that and Black goes to capture, then you invade the 3-3 and you can live here as well.
Right.
Just make sure you don't die in the middle.
Right.
But this is White playing as efficiently as White can. I'm trying not to really waste a move. But it also means that if I make a mistake, I'm more likely to collapse. Then Black turns, and we always have to evaluate whether or not defending A to prevent B is necessary. So at the point that Black turned, I had already read out that the weakness was enough that White could connect through. And so the plan to attach is working, and I can simply take the corner. And now this is just not a working method for Black. He tries, but it fails, as we saw in the game. But White gets to connect out. And from here, we're heading to an end game where the only weak group left is A. B, we don't really call it weak, it's thick, but it can become weak if it's surrounded. And there's no way that Black is going to be able to get to 2 out of 3 of the big places to make points. It's kind of already cemented to be White's privilege, so even in the end game, White is better. There's not really much more for Black to do.
Okay, good. Hard one today. Lots of complex stuff, but I think I followed it.
Yeah. Well, I think we had some good parts too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Namely with challenging the Q10 Aji and the discussion of defend the corner versus attack the top. I think those are probably the biggest ones.
Yeah. And I shouldn't be too concerned about the viewers perhaps it being over their heads, because the purpose of having you is to see the bigger things. So it's only natural. And
and of course, they can always ask questions in the comments. That's always welcome.
Yeah.
I look at the comments of the videos when they do pop up, and if I see any interesting ones, I'm more than happy to answer there as well.
Yeah.
And same for you both. I see you guys answering comments as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, thank you, Chris, so much for
You're
your
very
time,
welcome.
knowledge. George,
Thank you both.
for
Wonderful.
And we'll see you all next week. Then.
See you next week. Great.
Bye, viewers.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
So some updates on the NAOL in case you were interested.